Hello. Let's see who pops up. Got it. Give it a minute for somebody to get in. There we go. Hi, Dome Seeker. Mary Beth. Let's see if anybody actually shows up in here. And that's actually my bad because I was like, I was just relaxing and completely forgot what fucking time it was. So you'll have that. Different time zones and everything. Oh, Axeman. Hello. Chaos Prepper, thank you for being here. Bryce, how you doing? Jeff the Ref, people are coming in. Two-wheeled Prepper, how y'all doing? You gotta excuse me, I've been a bit off because I spent the last 10 days at work. And unlike most people are like, oh, well, I work 10 days in a row. No, at work. All right. So just got back in today. I had to take care of some issues, little SHTFs popping up all over, 2 deaths in the families in a week. So we're dealing with it. We're getting through. Luckily, it wasn't anything that was unexpected for either, in either case. So, and they had lived long, full lives. Let's see, who all do we have in here? Oh, Kevin, hello. Robin, Iowa Viking. Now, I put up a poll earlier this week, a couple of days ago, and 56% of you or of the people that voted on the poll, and if you don't know where the polls were, if you go to the homepage of this channel and you click on community, that's where you'll find shorts, posts, things like that, and polls when I put them up there. But 56% of you wanted to talk about Civil War, 21% rise of the Fourth Reich in the Ukraine, 8% reptilian overlords, and I've actually had some people that didn't know what reptilian overlords meant or referred to, but we cleared that up. And 15% wanted to talk about nuclear war and life after. The prepping artist, hello. Kelly, hello. J-Lar prepping, hello. So let's start off with, we might as well just talk about all of them briefly at least. We'll start with the highest, the Civil War. Now, everybody, even John today, it was brought up on Prepper Nation. Hey, John, I know you'll catch the replay because you're busy video gaming right now with Chewbacca. But yes, there does need to be a national divorce. However, don't expect it to be the same sides, if you were, as the first Civil War in this country, because a lot has changed. Before you had, in the South was primarily the economic powerhouse, and the North was, cities and, businesses and that. It was all about money and separation. This time, and a lot of people say, oh, it was about slavery. No, it wasn't. That was a secondary point of it. The primary was that the federal government didn't want to lose the money that would be coming with the states seceding. And that one fact would remain the same today. They wouldn't want to lose the income, because although you'll hear, as John pointed out, that a lot of red states, quote unquote red states, take a lot of money from the government, they're also the ones that give most of the money to the federal government, because the money that they take in from the federal government typically goes to blue cities. You won't find very many conservatives soaking up government funds. You just don't. We tend to be producers, not consumers. All right. We don't tend to be useless eaters. Now, some people are afraid of what would happen to Social Security. Well, you're going to lose that. All right. You'll lose Social Security if there was a civil war in this country, at least for the states that seceded, or the regions that would secede. You would probably lose your Social Security benefits, which would suck because you paid into it. But at the end of the day, let's admit, It's a Ponzi scheme. It is. It's no different than Bernie Madoff. Yes, Granite State Prepper. God, I hope SS gets lost. I'm all for doing away with Social Security. Now, there are people out there that will lose their money. Well, but I paid into it. The fact is, a lot of people that pay into it die before ever getting it. Where's that money go? Why are they behind? Why is there a deficit on Social Security? Why is it everybody always using it? Oh, well, we're not going to be able to fund Social Security. Because how do you think these politicians get, lifelong pensions, lifelong medical, lifelong dental, after serving a term? How do you think? It's a Ponzi scheme. They're using all the money, whether they admit it or not. They'll swear up and down, oh, no, we don't. Bullshit. It's a Ponzi scheme. We need to do away with it. We need to make people earn. Go back to earning what you get. All right. Set up your own IRA fund when you're 18 years old. Start investing in, putting money away in that. And at the end of the game, if you're 50, 60, 70 years old and you're like, well, I don't have a pot to piss in or when to throw it out, you have no one to blame but yourself. So that's what we need to go back to. Now it's taking money from your grandkids. That's right. So we need to phase out Social Security. But a civil war would be rough in this country because it's not so much politics versus, this side versus this side, as in there's cleanly defined lines like North Korea, South Korea, even, the economic south of the United States and the North, but it's cultural. You have cultural where you have red states and a blue zone smack dab in the middle of it, or blue states that are only blue because they have a large population center in cities. The majority of this country are conservative. The majority in this country are God-fearing. Now, you won't hear that on mainstream TV. You'll hear how the Anglo male or female, white female, whatever, is becoming a minority. That is, you can skew statistics all you want. But regardless of race, the conservatives, believe it or not, I want to tell you here, you are a majority, but the squeaky wheel gets the grease, okay? Just like if you think about it, 3%, less than 3% of the population is, we'll say, alternate lifestyle, okay? We'll keep it PC, alternate lifestyle. But if you watch TV, if you read magazines, if you look at billboards, if you watch commercials, if you listen to the radio, you would think that they are everywhere. They're not. It's psychological. It's a game. They're trying to win by just confusing the shit out of you. All right. And it makes you, and then you won't talk about it. Because you're like, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. Well, you're not rocking the boat because you're a majority. Speak your voice. But as far as a civil conflict in this country, don't ever expect it to be, unless it becomes, drastically. I mean, something radical would have to happen in politics for it to be anywhere near what it was in the first Civil War. A new civil war, a second civil war in this country would be almost completely asymmetrical. It would be private groups, private militias, private individuals funded for specific tasks, and they would be targeting the opposition. All right. Think of a war of terrorists where both sides had their terrorists and they are sending them out to do different things in different areas. All right. That's primarily what it would be, until either somebody else, an outside actor, knocked out the lights, i.e. the grid, or we did ourselves. All right. So a civil war in this country would be very brutal, could become very brutal. there would be a lot of innocent lives lost and a lot of bloodshed. All right, because this time, like it or not, a lot of it's going to be divided along religious lines. All right, believers versus non-believers, and either way, either side of that coin, things can get brutal, and mercy goes right out the window in most cases. I mean, if you just look at history. All right, let me hop in the chat here real quick, and then we'll keep talking. Chaos versus my son said that he will take care of me. Well, that's good. That's good. That sounds like it's already happening, Rob. Jonathan Gardner says, yes, you're feeling the birthing pains in this society right now. And it's only a matter of time before we, our side, conservatives for the most part, start to do something. Like, for example, the alternate lifestyle couple that was in was it Georgia, where they adopted 2 boys and then they pimped them out amongst their friends. Yeah, no, well, now they're waiting for trial because they got caught. But eventually, it's going to get to a point where people like us say, you know what, we're tired of your judicial system giving these creeps 5 years, 7 years. We're giving them probation for doing heinous crimes to children. And we just storm the cell blocks and drag them into the streets and have them swinging from a light pole. All right. And a lot of people say, well, that's vigilante. Yeah, sometimes you got to make a fucking example. All right. And you're going to start to see that shit. All right. Just like the crazy person from California tried to go and assassinate the Supreme Court judge because because the judge was conservative. Remember that? You're starting to see things like this come up and up and up. Let's see. Used to be that people in prison would do that for society. Well, nowadays they segregate them. You go into a correction facility and you'll have all your chomos, which are your child molesters, in one little block. All right. Stick them all together, kind of like protective custody. All right. So it's harder for those people to get to them. The problem is we shouldn't be letting these people get into the prison systems in the first place. Why are we allowing this? Because eventually they're going to come right back out. And if not, then we're paying for them, supporting, for their food, their clothing. You get rid of it. We need to stop that. So a civil war in this country would actually, if it broke out to full, National Guard versus regular army, which, could happen if the states like Texas or Georgia or Florida were like, you know what? No, all your federal laws are null and void here. All federal law enforcement, get out of the state. You have 24 hours. We'll have the National Guard pick up where y'all left off. And then the federal government decided to push back on this. No. Then you could see a conflict. All right. Because literally every governor in this country has their own standing army. It's called the National Guard. Now, yes, people will be like, well, they report to no, they don't report to the federal government. They do as long as their governor says so. Their funding comes from the state. It doesn't come from the federal government. So they're going to follow who pays them, who signs that paycheck. But yes, every state of the union has its own standing army. And that is one way that you could see states break off. You just activate their National Guard, like, fuck you. Your federal, get the hell out. All your bases that are here, like Texas. If Texas decided it wanted to leave, there'd be a problem because they have their GDP as a state rivals a lot of countries. They do not need the rest of the country of the United States to survive on their own. They have their own National Guard. They have their own Air National Guard, and they have military bases aplenty and equipment because all they would do is be like, okay, federal government, get out. And guess what would happen? They would leave just like we pulled out of Afghanistan, and all that equipment would stay behind because the governors would make sure, no, you ain't taking it. Your people can leave. All right. And if you don't want to leave Texas because you're from Texas and you're in the Army or Air Force or Navy or Marine Corps, all you got to do is swear allegiance to the state now. And there you go. but it could get bad. It could get bad. It could get real interesting because all of a sudden, people who like freedom end up being behind enemy lines. Texas really is talking about secession. They have been for a long time, Jonathan Gardner, a long time. Robert Winslow, what do you say? How about the BLM supporter that tried to hammer Paul Pelosi? Cops should have let him go. I'm not sure about that whole situation because that was kind of weird anyway. But yeah, I agree. Sometimes the COs will accidentally put a chomo around a killer. Hey, COs aren't all bad. Haha. Yeah, there's that. But again, we're not treating the problem. All right. We're not at the root. We're just slapping Band-Aids on shit. But it's going to come down. The next civil war, civil conflict in this country is going to be between good versus evil. All right. Now, the problem is that both sides think they're the good side. All right. The people that are whacked out in their head that are like, oh no, we should have drag time story hour for kids. It's the right thing to do. They believe that. They do. 100% to their rotten souls. They believe that. And the people that are like, yeah, I think that if you read drag time stories to children, we should be able to, cut your head off, those people believe that too. Ask me how I know. Okay. Let's see. Chaos versus it used to be when you join the military, they put you close to home. Now they ship you away. Yeah. I spent a long time in a lot of different places. Jenny Hurt says, hi, Rob, you need to be on more. And you are right. I would like to be on. I'd like to be on more and I will do my best. But right now I'm juggling so much because, like I said, we all have our little SHTFs. It doesn't just have to be like, oh, well, shit, there's spy balloons flying across the things. No, I've had multiple deaths in the family. I've had, parts that I couldn't get for 6 months for a semi truck, going from one work to another job. Why? Because I don't just sit around and give up. When shit goes wrong, I figure out solutions. And when I start shifting all my time onto that, I have to take time from other places. And unfortunately, this is the one thing that doesn't really, other than I enjoy it, it doesn't actually do anything to support my goals, my mission right now. All right. But I will try to be on here more as time allows. Don't make a penny off of YouTube. Let's see. Hard to just follow orders when you grew up with the people. That is true. That is true. Son of the desert. How do you know, Rob? Hold on. How do you know? Oh, you were talking about that because I know. Because I know. I got it. Shut that sorry balloon up. You want to talk about spy balloons, Chewbacca? I've got a beautiful picture of a spy balloon. But it's not a spy balloon. Washburn Blade says, Warlord, I'm just happy to see you in this chat. You got to take care of yourself first. Yes, if you can't help yourself, you can't help others. So always make sure that you are okay so that you can then help other people who need it. All right? Even, what do they say on an airplane? Put your mask on first and then help the people next to you. Okay? Same thing. Dareth Hogan, no problem. That's right. Totally not a spy balloon. That's an inside joke between me, Chewbacca, and John and Dome Seeker. Quite funny. I'd like to post it someday, but I don't think so. So yes, you'd probably lose Social Security in a civil war. You'd be fighting people that or probably know, because not everyone is your neighbor, is your friend. And people will, oh, well, there has to be a nonviolent way. Christ Jesus said, love thy neighbor. Yes, that's true. Love your neighbor. Not every person that lives around you is your neighbor. Even if they live next door, they are not your neighbor. When they say love your neighbor, you got to remember the times. All right. Back then, your neighbors were the people that went to your church. They were the people that helped you with your flocks. They were the people that helped raise your home, as in build your home. They were, it was a community you believed had the same core values. All right. If the person who lives next door to you does not have your core values, the same core values as you, they are not your neighbor. All right. If their core values are opposite of your core values, they are by definition your enemies. All right. Nonviolence begot slavery. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, in all cultures throughout time. Let's see. Elfwell says, Civil War seems to be one-sided with the people. I mean, people with blue hair tend to not have good aim. But like I said, who's the military NATO with? One side. Yes, and think of that right now. Who's the military with? Think about it. If there's one, and we'll go into this, the Fourth Reich real quick, rising Ukraine. If there's one thing I want you to think about. Over the past 2 decades, who are the countries? What do the countries that the U.S. has had conflicts in, what have they had in common? Now, some people will be like, oh, well, they're brown people, or they speak Arabic, or they're in the Middle East, or they're in, they all, including Russia today, they all are against woke. They all have been against the woke agenda. Think about that. Is it really, we wanted to go into Afghanistan for minerals and Iraq for oil, or is there a bigger game at play here, or even added bonuses? I mean, think about Russia right now. Wokeness, what we call wokeness, woke culture, is illegal in Russia. It's illegal. Find that odd? Think of how woke Ukraine is right now. I mean, didn't the president do like some dress up show in like drag or some shit a few years ago? Do believe he did, because he was an actor. Yeah, even if the enemy of my enemy, in fact, I can't even, when it comes to Russia, I can't even say the enemy of my enemy, because, what threat does Russia pose to me? All right. They may pose a threat to the U.S. government, but guess what? My biggest threat is the fucking U.S. government. Your biggest threat, the biggest threat to your lifestyle, is the U.S. government. It is. They're the ones that tomorrow could be like, oh, you know what? I didn't like what you said, and send jackbooted thugs to your door. All right. The Russians aren't going to do that. They're over there in Russia. You were DWB, driving while black. Whoop, whoop. The government. Yes, police are government. So, I mean, the biggest threat to you is your government. The Russians aren't a threat to me. The Chinese aren't a threat to me. The only problem I have with the Chinese is that they have all the stuff to make everything. Antibiotics, cold medicines, everything. We can't make that shit here anymore because we decided to ship it all over there. Yes, no matter where you live, that's true. That is true. But our government pushes the woke culture. So in that scenario, they're the ones pushing that shit on my kids. If someone like Vladimir Putin is like, hey, we won't push that shit on your kids. You know what? I mean, all right, comrade. I mean, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't, oh, well, Russia bad, Russia bad. Well, yeah, that's because we've been brainwashed with Rambo movies and shit for 40 years, 50 years. We've been brainwashed to think Russians bad. I mean, yeah, is there a lot of corruption in Russia? Damn right there is. But look at the culture. They're tough people. They're strong people. They have faith. All right. And when it comes to, morality, they're doing a lot better than we are. Now, let's talk about Ukraine real quick. The Fourth Reich rising. Some of you will remember back when this was OFC Nation that I did a video and I discussed the rise of neo-Nazism taking over Ukraine in 2013-14, how right sector had infiltrated the government, helped overthrow the government with the help of the U.S. And right sector is a neo-Nazi organization in Ukraine. And then they kind of faded into the background and took off into the shadows and became basically the Ukraine's version of shadow government. All right. Deep state. If you remember, I told you all to, if you get a chance, go watch Rogue Militia by Vice. Well, I watched this 4 days ago, and there's a whole section in that video that they have since edited out, where it took the commanders taking their caps off, sitting them down, and they had swastikas inside. They're literally rewriting. It's like rewriting history. Think of 1984, when they would take snippets out and rewrite it and put it back out there. And people were like, oh, well, this is the way it happened because that's what it says right here. They're literally doing that shit right now. When they talk about having the Nazi death squads that were hunting ethnic Russians in the Donbass regions because they didn't like them. All these things. We're seeing everything that happened prior to them having concentration camps in World War II. We're seeing happen now, but it's in Ukraine. All right. The Ukrainians, when the Russians pull out and then the Ukrainians take over an area, and then 2 days later, they're like, oh, well, we found this pit full of bodies. It took you 2 days to find a pit full of bodies in the street. I'm pretty sure the pit was fucking empty up until 2 days ago. Think about it. Washburn Boy says, I'm not coming against anyone in saying this, but it's the gospel truth. I have so much respect for you all, so don't think that I'm trying to be rude in my words. Quite the opposite. I don't know what y'all are saying, but yeah, that would be a nasty smell. Human rotting people is a bad smell. Especially wet rotting people is a wet smell. And flesh gets mushy when it's wet, left outside. But anyway, I digress. You're seeing a lot of spin right now. And the reason is because we are in, as so many have said, including John, we are already in World War III. Think about it. When was the last time you heard the Axis and Allied powers? World War II. All right. And then there was George Bush with this axis of evil. And now, these Axis powers, talking about China and Iran and Russia and a couple others, are coming against, our allies. So we have Axis and Allied powers. The lines are being defined again prior to everything really going full scale. Now, it takes a while for things to start steamrolling, but think about this. You heard throughout 2020, you heard cries from the left of, hey, if they don't want to get the shot, round them up. Oh, if they don't want to get the shot, put them in camps. Oh, I don't have a problem. You don't let them into the grocery stores. Huh? You remember in history there was these people that had to wear this yellow star? Huh? And they couldn't go into certain places and had to be in by certain times, and they eventually got rounded up and put into places. It's the same shit. So if you don't think that all these woke people that are screaming, yeah, Ukraine, 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 won't round everybody that doesn't agree with them the fuck up, you're wrong. What music did you guys listen to go do dirty deeds? Back in the 80s, we listened to Man of War in the 75th. One of my favorite was Flight of the Valkyrie. I love Flight of the Valkyrie. Jamming it from a Humvee. Awesome. Immigrant Song is a good one. Yes, yeah, FEMA. But I'm not just talking here, Granite State Prepper. I'm talking over there. There's going to be concentration camps over there. All right. If they're not careful, if we're not careful, if we don't keep an eye on what is going on over there. Never get on a train with a free ticket. They gave up their guns in Germany in 1930, and we will here too. Don't make them. Don't. I mean, they're the people in this. When I say we will here, I'm not talking about you in this chat, you who watch the channel. Because if you watch my channel, you're an extremist or a federal agent, or work for a federal agent. But anyway, the vast majority of people in the United States of America tend to be very sheepish. They will do what they're told, even if they don't like it. All right. How many people will say, well, I lost it in a boating accident. You know, there's truth in every joke. All right. In the satire, there's truth in there. They'll hide their stuff. If you're hiding it, you're not willing to use it. And a lot of people won't like that. They'll go, yes, I am. Dude, go to the mirror, take a deep look into your eyes, into your soul, and tell yourself the truth, because I'm not buying the bullshit. All right. Now, when I say if they come after me, they better bring body bags, I mean it, because I have no problem trying to take out as many as I can before I go down in a blaze of glory, right? For my principles. There's that. Alpha says a big difference between now and then is the technology. The level of surveillance compared is insane. Yes. Which is why you need to, if you're going to start making a stand, you need to start thinking about everything you do, every way you move. You need to think about if you hypothetically selected a target, not a target of opportunity, but a legitimate target that you were going to plan out. This is what I'm going to hit. This is what I'm going to do. All right. You need to know where every surveillance camera is. You need to observe your target area. You need to not take one of these or anywhere near the area when you're going around. You need to look for ways to access the target that are non-conventional. All right, routes that wouldn't have any surveillance on them. You need to plan it out well in advance. So that way, the better your plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. All right. So plan that shit out. Learn how to move through a heavily surveilled location or area without drawing the eye of the algorithm, the AI, the facial recognition. You can wear your masks. You can change your gait, the way you walk, because not only do these camera systems detect your face, which your cheekbones, the distance of your eyes that are apart, from here to here, the chin to here, all that shit. how your ears are up on your head. Not only that, but the way you walk, how far apart your legs go, how you slouch or stand upright, how you swing your arms. They learn all of this, all right, and they can identify you through that. So you have to consciously change those things. If you were going near a target that had, let's say, heavy surveillance from closed camera or even open circuit CCTVs, you'd want to, change what kind of a boot you wore. Put more padding in the front. Dr. Scholl's, cut the toes off, stick them inside. That will change the way your feet sit in there, which will change the way you walk just slightly. All right. Intentionally think of, okay, I'm going to take, instead of taking short steps, I'm going to take long steps. If I normally take long steps, I'm going to take shorter steps. All right. If I normally swing my arms when I walk, put your hands in your fucking pockets. Things like this while wearing a mask, with a hoodie. The less that the AI can see this shit. Now, there are AI programs that can look at a masked individual and still tell you with very, very high accuracy who that person is. They can identify them. But there are, what are they called? It's like an abnormal pattern. If somebody knows what I'm talking about, there's an abnormal pattern that you can print and use as masks, and it confuses the system. Got a mirrored Cobra mask from G.I. Joe. Well, there you go, MacGyver prepping. I just can't think of the name of it right now, but there is an actual pattern. No, not ACU pattern. It's weird. It's like squiggles and zigzags, and it's if you just Google, I'll do it right now. Let's Google it. I'm Googling on my phone while talking to you. Pattern to confuse facial recognition. Adversarial patch. Ways to defeat facial recognition. Yeah, adversarial patch or what? Yes, what is that printing? Even certain Italian clothes can beat it. But there's that. So let's see what's going on in the chat here. Just keep on keeping on. Okay. 3 things I have learned. 1, leave your cell phone at home. Yes. 2, don't tell anyone what you do. Yes. And 3, wear reflective tape around your face. Flares out on night vision. I've never tried that, but I will have to try that. Our light will deter cameras. See, there's lots of people that know all things. Sherman, how are you doing? The last thing a camera will see is a muzzle flash. I mean, think about it. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. We still don't know who did that. It was ways to defeat cameras. I miss your ponytail chin hair. Yeah. I haven't grown it back yet. Put on a Batman uniform. That would be cool. Now, as a lot of people have said, I've seen some memes about it. The world is crazy because now the conspiracy theorists are telling the normal people that no, bro, they're not flying fucking saucers coming in the sky. All right. So, okay, I'll get those bones back eventually. So yeah, things are, it's a crazy world. Cats and dogs, living together, mass hysteria. But what are the odds that it's reptilian, overlords that are just manipulating this whole thing? Yes, I know some people out there actually think there are reptilian overlords that live in like Hollow Earth or something that, may have taken over key political positions. I mean, nothing's impossible, just highly improbable. I'm not sure about all that. But I imagine that lizard people would taste like chicken, and it wouldn't count as cannibalism if we hunted them and killed them. So there's that. If they ain't human, is it still murder? No, that's what I'm saying, McGarry. It's not. Yeah, if there's giant reptilians like in the White House, with masks, wearing people skin, like V. Think of V. Remember that TV series? Yeah, no, it'd be like on like Donkey Kong, right? Hopefully they lay eggs, like big ones. I mean, think about it. Ostriches lay massive eggs. Imagine all the eggs we could harvest. It's all breakfast. Yeah, snake meat. Yeah, whatever. Dynamite. I'm not saying that they're not real. I can neither confirm nor deny because I've never seen one, but I know a lot of people that surf the web and they're like, oh, they're real. So, until I have proof one way or another, I can neither confirm nor deny. Queen was the lizard leader. Oh, he was the, who was the lizard king? Who was that? That was, oh shit. He just made me think of somebody. I can't remember. Somebody knows who I'm talking about. I am the lizard king. I can't remember who it was. Yes, demons are real. And that's what they could be. Or maybe what we call demons are lizards instead of what we call lizards or demons. It's still about the same. But yeah. Is there anyone in this chat that believes, like, I won't make fun of you, Jim Morrison, thank you, that believes that there are reptilian overlords amongst us? Different dimension? Could be. I don't rule it out. I don't rule out the possibility of interdimensional travel. I mean, because the way I look at it, heaven and hell, the best way I could describe them would be in other dimensions outside of our own, a physical place, but someplace that's separated via a dimension. I believe in beings other than humans. Come on, and they are interested in human affairs. Quite possibly. Because he made the heavens and the earth, but it doesn't say that he didn't make anything else. All right, it doesn't say that. To my believers out there, nowhere in any of the books does it say this is the only planet that he made life on. It doesn't say it. It doesn't say that he did or didn't. It tells us what we need to know. We need to take care of this place here. We need to do this, and this. But there's no way of knowing if he didn't do the same thing somewhere else long before we got here. And time is relative because a supreme being is outside of time space. So yes, what is 6 days to you or 7 days to you is not the same to him. Wins and Grays, homie. Let's see. What else did we need to talk about? Anything else we want to talk about tonight? Nuclear war. Listen, I think there's a strong possibility. Now, I'm not saying that, I have, insider tips. No, I don't. But I think there's a strong probability that within the next 2 years, you can see fire from the fucking sky. Just saying, because they're going to keep poking that bear over there. All right. And if they keep poking that bear and that bear thinks that all hell's going to fall in on him, that he could probably very well just. Now, the problem is, don't worry about nuclear weapons unless you live in a major metropolitan area or a major manufacturing zone. Because believe it or not, Wheeling, West Virginia, little ass podunk, 30,000 population, Wheeling, West Virginia, used to be a first strike target for the Soviets back when it was the Soviet Union because of all the manufacturing. Primarily the Blanox plant here made tanks. All right. And then you have these chemical plants all up and down the river. So just because of the Blanox factory, we were a first strike target. Not anymore though. But if you live in a major metropolitan area, yeah, that would suck for a nuclear weapon to go off. If you live anywhere else outside of a primary target, which primary targets would be major manufacturing, major metropolitan, major financial, which that's New York City covers all that shit, and military. Think of Norfolk. Think of Fort Bragg, Fort Benning. Think of San Diego. All right, places like that, and the nuke fields out in Minnesota and North Dakota, South Dakota, shit like that. But if you live somewhere like here, or if you live in like Tennessee, wherever, pick up Arkansas, you're probably not going to get a direct strike on a nuclear weapon. Now you will hear people, I even heard Tucker Carlson of all people talk about, a nuclear weapon could, 50 miles. And no. The largest nuclear weapon, hear me out here, please. The largest nuclear weapon has a 5-mile blast zone. That's it. That's the largest nuclear 5-mile blast zone. Now, don't get me wrong. In that 5 miles, there's not going to be nothing. And with the prevailing winds, anything northeast of that place for 50 miles, you don't want to be anywhere near it. All right? Because the fallout's going to come down. However, the fallout will dissipate, and fallout dissipates rather rapidly. What you need to worry about as preppers is get on Google and Google nuclear power plants in the United States. Google that and see where one's at near you. Because if nukes fall from the sky, it's probably going to, the EMPs from those probably going to fry out our power grids. If somebody just simply hacks our power grid, we'll lose the power grid. If somebody EMPs with just an EMP weapon, the power grid, we'll lose the power grid. All right. And if we lose the power grid for a long enough time, those facilities will melt the fuck down. Those are the real threats. Not the oh my God, you're going to fire nuclear weapons. No, because the fallout from nuclear weapons, is from it sucking up dirt. The dirt becomes radioactive because there's a vacuum inside that mushroom cloud. There's a vacuum creating that mushroom up in the sky. And that shit is radioactive and it disperses. But when bombs go off, their energy is burning up their own radioactivity. All right. But those cooling rods that are sitting at fucking nuclear power plants right now, if they melt down, that shit is just radioactive emanating for eons. All right. It will just irradiate everything and poison everything around it. All right. And any water, rivers flowing by, anything like that. Yeah. Fucked. Nuke plane about 35 miles from me. Which direction from you? Dynamite. West, east. If it's east or northeast or north, don't fucking worry about it. Unless there's a river that flows south past it to get to you. But because remember, prevailing winds, our winds typically go from west to east in this country or southwest to northeast. All right. So as long as the shit is blowing away from you, you don't have to worry about that shit. I'm dead. I'm 2 miles from Houston. Oh, yeah, you're fucked, Jareth. Sorry. Just keeping it real. Wish I could hang out longer. All right. Hey, it's good, though. We're going to be bouncing off here in a few minutes anyway. Nuclear one is about 45 minutes from me east. You're fine, Kelly. You should be fine. If it's 45 minutes away from you and it's east of you, yeah, you'll be all right. Yeah, you should be fine because all that shit's going to blow on the neighbors that are 47 miles, 48 miles minutes east of you. So, yeah, pray for them. Everybody else is screwed. I live close to L3 and Raytheon Technologies. They are built on a World War II air base. Yes, and L3 and Raytheon, it was big military contractors. All right. So I guess I don't need my gas mask. No, Jareth, probably not. I mean, I mean, at least your corpse would be cool looking. But it'd be all right. Northwest Florida with 7 military bases within a 4. Yeah, Beretta Vandy. That's the best bad juju right there. Nope. And don't get me wrong, I love Florida. I'm down there all the time. But yeah, yeah, I wouldn't want to live around all those military bases. All right. Well, I'll try to get more videos up. All right. I'll try to do more live streams. And I'll try to, honestly, like I said at the beginning, before everybody started hopping in here, I forgot about my own live stream because I've been working for 10 days in a row without stopping. And I was at work for 10 days. Like I said, not just like I left and went to work and came home and went to work. No, I went to fucking work 10 days ago and came home today. Yes. Because, sometimes you got to do shit that sucks to get further ahead in life. And I was just tired. And like, I was literally sitting over there on the couch and I was like, oh shit, I had a live stream 15 minutes ago. And then Dome Seekers texted me like, are we going live? I'm like, yeah, as I'm fucking typing shit in here. I mean, oh yes, Dynamite. Thank you very much. You forgot to remind me about his package. Yes, I did. Thank you very much. They are out in the backseat of my pickup truck right now. I will do I'm gonna read through them real quick, and then we'll review them sometime in the next couple of days. But awesome, he sent me some. Dynamite sent me some military tech manuals, field manuals. All right, FMs, sabotage, and some other ones. Can't think off the top of my head, but Special Forces one, I believe. A couple of ones that I didn't have in my collection and had not been issued. But I'm going to read through them and we'll go over those. That's video topics right there, and I greatly appreciate that you did not have to do that, but I appreciate that. Thank you. So anyway, next time I will do my best not to forget my own damn live stream. But I appreciate all of you. Good night. God bless. To my baby sharks, Daddy loves you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. My kids, not you guys. Well, maybe. You never know. All right. Good night. God bless. Thank you all for being here. Your time is greatly appreciated. I'm out.